What's going on, guys? I'm coming at you today with a pretty quick video because it's Tuesday and it's going to be like a little bit of a teaching editing thingy because I noticed that there's a new feature on Lightroom and I wanted to share it with you. But before I get into that, 2 bits of housekeeping quick. First of all, I mentioned a couple videos ago that I'm giving away a Shimoda bag. The people at Shimoda were nice enough to do that for me, so it didn't even come out of my pocket. The people at Shimoda are giving away a camera bag on my behalf. If you want to get in on that, you have to be a part of my newsletter. And for more information on that, you click on the link in the description of this video. You can still enter. Secondly, Joe Allen of YouTube photography fame is joining me on a workshop in Morocco in March. That trip is going to be unbelievable. Morocco is maybe one of the best places in the world to do travel photography because it's so diverse. And we still have 2 spaces available. So if you want to join us on that, there's information in the link, the description in the link. You know what I mean? It's in the link in the description of this video, so head there and check it out if you want to join us in Morocco. Now, let's get to Lightroom. I want to talk about a new tool. There's a new tool called the texture tool, and I came across this about a month ago. It's very possible it's been there for months and months and months, and I just didn't update Lightroom, but I did notice it about a month ago. And I noticed it because I kind of edit my images the same way every single time. And so I was kind of like scrolling through the motions doing my edit, and the slider I was trying to hit wasn't there anymore, and instead there was this texture tool. And my first thought was, why is there a texture tool? There's already clarity, isn't it the same thing? And I thought, yeah, we don't need it, I won't use it. And then I started playing around with it. And then I started loving it. So I kind of want to show you guys the tool and talk about what the difference is between texture and clarity because they're right beside each other in Lightroom. So let's jump over to my laptop. And this is an image I photographed this morning with Jody as we hiked up to this old church here in Qatar. It's been edited a little bit. It was shot handheld, kind of in the middle of the day, but it really works to show you this texture tool. So you have the image. I've edited it all the way except I haven't touched texture or clarity. Clarity, the best way I can describe clarity is creating sharpness by using tonal contrasts. So in a way, when you boost the clarity slider, it makes an image look sharper without actually adding sharpening. It just uses, tonal contrast. Or it can soften the image by doing the exact opposite. So if we take this image and we hit the slider to 50, you can see everything looks sharper or maybe edgier. If we go up to plus 50, if we go down to minus 50, it makes everything look softer without actually being softer. It totally changes the mood of the image. Texture does very similar things, but on a much more micro scale, on a much smaller scale. So texture, again, we go plus 50, and you can see it makes everything sharper, but much more subtly. If we go to minus 50, it makes everything almost look out of focus, soft. I don't think that's the way I would use it unless I was doing a portrait and I wanted to soften a face of somebody, and I would use kind of this brush tool to do that. But that's what it does. Let's zoom in and you can get an even better understanding of what this does. So this is the church here, obviously. If we hit the clarity again to plus 50, you can see everything has gotten sharper because of these tonal contrasts. If we take the texture tool and do the same thing, you can see it just sharpens it really subtly by using what I'm assuming must be just really micro contrasts in the tonality of the image. That's what I think is happening. Obviously, I'm not a Lightroom engineer. I don't actually know what's happening, but it's a really subtle way of sharpening the image. And it would be fantastic on images where, let's say you have a wrinkly person portrait and you want to bring out those wrinkles. The texture tool would do that really well. Or if you're photographing somebody and you want it to be like glamorous and really soft, you can bring the texture tool to soften that. It'll be really good. If you're photographing churches or doors, you can again use the texture tool to bring out the textures of the rock or the wall, or you can soften it if that's what you want. So I think this texture tool is actually really good. And I thought at first it was probably maybe unnecessary. Now I'm finding myself loving it. It's just a really subtle way of improving the image. Look at the histogram, which is up here. If I take the clarity and I crank it up to plus 50, watch how much the histogram changes. it really makes a big difference to the histogram. It moves things around a lot. Bring it back down, it moves it back down a lot. With texture, if you move it up to +50, the histogram hardly moves. There's hardly any motion there. It's a really, really subtle change. And the beauty of the texture tool is I think you can actually do both. You can use clarity to like soften the image a little bit and then bring texture to bring out the texture of the rock. You get kind of the best of both worlds. So somebody commented in the YouTube video a couple days ago saying, Brendan, your images are looking really sharp and crisp lately. What have you been doing different? The texture tool is what I've been doing different. It's the only thing that I've been doing different in general. And yeah, I'm really liking the texture tool. It's a tool I didn't think I'd ever use. And the more I play with it, the more I'm loving it. So let me know in the comment section below. Have you been playing with the texture tool? If so, you loving it? You hating it? Do you use it at all? And yeah, that's it for today's episode. On Thursday, there'll be a vlog/challenge where I show you the hike up to this church and some other photography here in Kotor, Montenegro. So I guess I'll see you guys there. Peace.